and vision of a company. The concept of CSR is very, very closely related to the Sustainability Development Goals 2020. So, when I think of the current status of CSR in India, apart from these exemplary companies such as Tata and Deepak Foundation and many more actually, or Reliance as well, Wipro. When we go down to the next tier, or the small industries and the ones that are actually now coming into the forefront with that 2% CSR. It's funny because most of the time it's not a developed science, or CSR is not something that is to be done because the government has asked you to do 2% towards social responsibility. CSR, as we call it at Karma Connect, we think of it as corporate social value, and it's all pervasive. It starts from the vision and mission of the company, and it trickles down to all the stakeholders of the company, starting from employees to your suppliers, to the communities that you work in, as well as the nation at large. So it's not just because you have been mandated to give those 2% and you have to kind of go out and do that 2%. And then, these NGOs flock at your doors and then they are like, oh, this is solution 1, 2, 3. And they're like, okay, I want to get done with this and I'm going to kind of give it to you, you and you. And by the way, you can give me reports at the end of the year. And then I've seen the reports, which comes back to the dashboard part of it. The reports that I've kind of evaluated, those reports will not even fly by. It's a 3-page or a 4-page report which comes at, quarterly reviews or, after that. Those reports, as a student just said, sometimes are very manipulated. Some of the reports are actually repetitive in nature. There is duplication of resources, which in this country should not be allowed. We are a poor country. We have to realize this. If someone goes in, and I'm just going to pick on all these examples that you're given, if someone goes in and does a study 20 times of the same area, that's duplication of resources. And that brings in a very important point. People do not collaborate. The 4 stakeholders, as I think of nation building: government, corporate, donors and volunteers, and NGOs, the big old NGOs. People do not collaborate towards one particular goal. So there's a corporate doing something in one area, government is probably putting in effort in the same area doing something else. Then there are donor groups and volunteer groups. We have a lot of NRI groups that I've consulted in the past, and they are doing something in the same area, as well as you have NGOs on their own agenda. So there is no sharing of best practices. We had a domestic abuse video done for one of the NGOs, and they used it. And then there was a CSR project that I was working on, and I asked for that, to be shared in a certain area. I was told a straight no. And to me, I just don't get it. If we have built a domestic abuse video that we are using rural vans to propagate in a certain area, why does there have to be an intellectual property right to it? Why can't it be out on a platform to be shared readily? And that is where it kind of gets into a very murky area wherein I'm not sure if corporates are just doing it just to meet an audit compliance part or feed their egos. So I think, in general, I think CSR needs to transition out of this feel good, I'm doing good, my pictures are coming on Facebook, or, my pictures are appearing in conferences, to really kind of getting out there and kind of seeing where the problem starts and how we can kind of build on the problem. I was in Sanand GIDC recently, and, and sorry, but as much as I believe in education, etc., but I just think a lot of CSR spend is getting wasted in that education area. I visited no less than about 25 schools, where high-tech schools, smart classes, apparently that's a big deal. It's coming up in these brochures, wherein it looks great. Oh my God, this looks awesome, smart class, etc. Talk to the students. Have they benefited out of it? It's a very half-hearted approach when you just give a computer to a rural area, and then you kind of put it on your brochures, and then it has no real impact. I've been to conference, I was with Mr. Jitendra with Bosch, and we had a very good discussion. The entire area from Ahmedabad to Nalsarovar, every morning 7:30, why don't we drive down? We have so many big companies starting from Ford to Tata in that Sanand industrial area. Open defecation is so prevalent, while everyone's investing in smart classrooms in that area. Aren't we just doing this wrong? Do we not start with civic values? Do we not start with, some basic social values, and then go up to education. It's the report that you were mentioning, the KPMG report and the recent Gujarat report. I think 80 to 90% is just going into education because it's the easiest and it's the glamorous. You can sit with the kids and kind of get the pictures on, and it looks great. But no one is talking about civic issues. I mean, wash and sanitation is again great, but again, rural and tribal areas, and you guys are grassroots workers, and my limited experience working on the grassroots, because I'm more on the consulting strategy, more on how the money needs to be in a portfolio of services side. But on the grassroots level, rural and tribal definitely require a lot of volunteer and employee interventions. One of the things we do very well with Karma Connect is we do not only talk about a CSR strategy and consult on these 5 initiatives and 5 projects and 5 NGOs and 5 social entrepreneurs that you need to fund and get done with it. One of the things that is a big part of it, and we are doing this for a big company that is 3,000 employees, is that we want to make sure that the employees are as engaged as possible in the